Daryl Morey has to be the most clueless man in all of Philadelphia. He has to be. Like, does he have no idea how bad what he said yesterday sounds? Has the guy never heard the word humility? I don't know. It's comical to think about what Daryl Morey said and how he actually believes it. We're going to talk about it today. Phillies sweep the Rays last night with a come-from-behind victory and a win in extra innings. We'll continue to talk about the Phillies. They're this close. This close. Guys, Trading the AM. It's Friday. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live, YouTube and Twitter. Wherever you're watching, please hit that like button, please. We want to hit 25 likes today on YouTube. Please hit that share button. If 25 people also share this out, then we're sure to gain some new subscribers. So if you're watching for the first time, please click subscribe. So like, share, and subscribe. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. It's free to do. Doesn't cost you a thing to support a local content creator. Does not cost you a thing to help support, grow this great morning show, guys. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. We're live here. We got a lot to talk about today. We've got a new Pope. We got breaking media news yesterday. Not sports related, but media related that we're going to talk about. It's Mother's Day weekend. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Phillies completing the sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays last night in extra innings. We're going to talk about all that. But we're going to start the show off with, obviously, Daryl Morey's long list of idiotic comments yesterday on 97.5 The Fanatic, long list of clueless comments yesterday morning, long list of proof that he's just an idiot. He's just a jackass. He has no clue. He has no humility. He's got no ability to read the room on what Philadelphia 76ers need to hear. It was one of the most classless, clueless interviews I've ever heard, and I've heard a lot. So we're going to start off with Daryl Morey, but we're going to fire through already a lot of comments already. New Pope, he is not from the Philly area. He just went to Villanova. He's from Chicago. Good morning, Little G. Good morning, Duck. Yes, the new Pope is not from Philly. He's a Chicago guy. He went to Villanova, St. Thomas Aquinas Seminary. Absolutely. Good morning, Rick. I will catch your show today, but I'm sure you had a great show last night. He is a complete joke. What's up? Shandon. I can't read all those letters. It's too small. But good morning to you. Yes, Daryl Morey, a complete joke, and I cannot believe. You know what Daryl Morey sounds like to me after listening to the clips? I didn't listen to it straight through. I just listened to all the highlight clips and read all the articles on him. You know what he sounds like? He sounds like a guy that knows that his boss doesn't care. So he can do whatever he wants, say whatever he wants with no he knows there's no consequences for his actions. But the problem is, in life, there's always consequences. Actions always have consequences. Words always have consequences. And if Daryl Morey was safe in his job after yesterday, Josh Harris better be looking in a mirror. The NFL's offseason, this is the slow part of the offseason. He's got a few minutes. The NBA playoffs are going on. The lottery is Tuesday night, the draft lottery. If Josh Harris isn't at least thinking about changing his mind after the way He spoke yesterday, Daryl Morey. Now, let me just tell you, I'm done. Like, I've already been done, so to speak, with the Sixers, but I'm really done and fed up. If this guy goes into the offseason and keeps his job any longer. The Illuminati confirmed. Yes, absolutely, yeah. Again, the key word on this show is we don't like the word hate. There's too much hate in the world. We strongly, strongly dislike Morey. But if I'm going to use the word hate, Daryl Morey is very close to the person that's going to make me do that. If he don't get flagged, he got to go. Well, he has no say on getting flagged. If we don't get the number one pick on Tuesday night, we're not getting flagged. So, yeah, he or his boss don't care. Both. And do me a favor, if you don't mind, find the YouTube page. It's in the bio of this thing. I also shared out the link to the show on YouTube. I'd greatly appreciate you finding me on YouTube and hitting subscribe and joining us on the YouTube side of things as well. I stand on business. I put on my old man glasses. Daryl Morey is lost and blind. He's a buffoon. He's a nitwit. He's a clown. He's a dope. Let's start reading just a few of these quotes. I wrote down a whole bunch of quotes from it. Let's see. The best one of the best of them right here. Where is it? This is the first losing season I've had. I've had more deep runs than any other exec. This is the first time I've ever been to the lottery because all I do is win. I'm pretty good at this winning. What? Yeah, you're really good at building regular season winning teams. You've never in your history made an NBA final. You never won a title. Where's the humility in that comment? When you go out there and say, this is my first ever losing season. More deep runs than anyone else that's ever done this. I'm pretty good at this winning thing. That's a clueless statement. That's a statement that tells the fans, I don't care about you. Pathetic. Then he'll go out and say, next year our rotation will be 25 years old or younger. Then he says, we're going to keep Paul George and Joel Embiid. We're committed to them. We'll probably have Eric Gordon and Andre Drummond again. So are we going younger? Or are we going older? Or is it just going to be status quo? Like, I don't get it. Josh Harris needs to sell this team. I mean, honestly, that's the number one thing. I mean, Josh Harris enables Daryl Morey to be a clueless nitwit. Good morning, Mark. How you doing this morning? Hope you are well. Sixers. We're going to get into the Phillies in a little bit. I hope we do get flagged, but he clearly don't care. The things he said yesterday had me ready to jump off a bridge. When he mentioned winning, I was like, when he says, I'm really good at this winning thing. Like, really? Really? What I did not do well is make sure we had youth athleticism for the regular season run. Then he follows it up and says we're going to keep all our over 35-year-old guys. Really? Really? Is he the worst GM in Sixers history in the whole NBA? The most overrated GM in all of Philly and Sixers history. I don't know if the worst ever, but most overrated without a shadow of a doubt. It's a hold the bar low statement. Absolutely 1,000%. Didn't have control over Embiid in the Olympics, and it was a proud moment for him. He had a scope, same doctor that worked on Kawhi. This is more of a complex case, but he's trending in a great positive direction and will be fine. So is he going to be, it's complex. We don't know. But on the flip side of the equation, he's going to be okay. How can you say both those things in the same sentence? How can you say we're committed to him? And he had surgery, and he's going to be fine. But it's a complex case, so we don't know. I'm telling you, I've said it since the season ended. We're going to enter next season talking about Joel Embiid ramping up again. And it's going to be the same song and dance. Oh, thank you. We do this every day. I've been doing it. This is my 4th full year doing this show. Every morning. Twitter and YouTube. Every morning, my man. Well, we don't stop. We never stop. See, the thing is, because Josh Harris doesn't give a rat's ass about the Sixers, Daryl Morey ain't going anywhere. In theory, it's not the case, but in theory, the Sixers actually belong to Daryl Morey than Josh Harris. Josh Harris don't care about the Sixers. He cares about the Commanders, and that's it. Brian Colangelo, I don't know if Brian Colangelo was the worst GM ever either. Brian Colangelo sucked in Philly. He was great before Philly. Brian Colangelo, I don't think ever wanted the Philly job. The NBA forced the Sixers to fire Sam Hinkie, and wasn't Brian Colangelo's dad in charge at that time of some part? Like, Brian Colangelo's dad is the reason why he was forced into Philly. Yo, son, take one more run here. So Brian Colangelo was kind of set up to fail. He was put in a position that he shouldn't have been in because Sam Hinkie should have still been here. When he mentioned that, look, I mean, I wrote down so many notes. We should trust him, he said. Here's one. I see it. My notes, I don't know if you guys can't see it, but I have really terrible handwriting. I don't write well, so it's hard for me to read my notes sometimes. Our roster will be better, where, again, we had the third best odds this year to win the East, and next year's roster is going to be better. Again, talking about odds. Like, do I care that we were the third most likely team to win the East last season? No. You didn't even make the playoffs, so you clearly weren't the third best East team. You're trying to tell me that we're going to change it, but we're going to run it back. And all's going to be well. I'm at a loss for words from this situation yesterday. Youth for the regular season run is a little disturbing unless he also believes youth is key to winning the playoffs as well. It sounds like it does. But see, here's the thing, Nooms. He said youth for the regular season run, and he used, we're going to have a lot of our rotation 25 or under. And then he says he's committed to Joel Embiid, committed to Paul George, committed to Eric Gordon, committed to Andre Drummond. Hell, I was waiting for a quote to come out that he was committed to Kyle Lowry as well. Like, I don't get it. I don't get, like, how can Daryl Morey be slapped with some humility to realize he's wrong? As long as he is here, this team will forever be trash. Dude, obviously you're new to the program here. Never seen you chatting before. I said it the day he was hired. There was a picture that was put out of him and Doc Rivers at a desk with a big window in the background and the quote, getting to work. And I said at that exact moment, this team was going to fail. And I was told, have patience. He knows what he's doing. Believe in trust the process. Blah, blah, blah. It's better than Colangelo. Blah. I'm like, no, this is not going to work out. Been saying it since the day he was hired. And here we are, all these years later, and it's still not working out. And he still thinks because he wins a lot of games in the regular season, he's the best executive in basketball. Because nobody does what he does. 50% loss of performance in any business would call. Yeah, if any of us watching this show perform at his level, would any of us still have our job? I just Colangelo winning Executive of the Year for the Raptors was such fool's gold. He really was a mediocre GM at best. It's possible. It's possible. But if Colangelo was a mediocre GM at best, what does that make Daryl Morey? NBA product is a broken product. It is. But more so, Rick, is that the Sixers are a broken team. The Sixers are a broken organization. The Sixers are a disaster. What's going on, Steven Fuentes? Happy Friday to you as well. The Sixers will be far down the list of things to watch next season because of Daryl Morey. I mean, it will create great content for a guy like me that goes 90 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and maybe more down the line. So the Sixers provide me with great content and great, because pissed off Phil grows the algorithm. So the Sixers will be at the bottom of my entertainment viewing, but the Sixers will provide us all that do content with plenty of great content. You're not the only one that drives crazy. It will be the same old song. It will be the same Embiid. Will be heard again. Look, we're committed. We are committed to Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey. Listen, I love Embiid, but it's time to move on, bro. Seriously, look, I'm with you. I love Embiid too. And I said before last season I was going down with the sinking ship, and the ship sunk. That's the thing. Like, the ship is still not sinking. The holes can't be patched. The ship is sunk. Plain and simple. I have a hard time getting upset about the Sixers anymore. Not worth the agita. I know. It's worth the algorithm boost, okay, Juan. Sorry, Phil. I put major credit to Mike. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You don't have to be sorry. I mean, Mike Miss is a curmudgeon. I mean, he is what he is. He's one of those old-timers in media that we bitch about all the time, but he's a legend. He's never been afraid to ask the tough questions, so you don't have to be sorry for that. I mean, and find out why Mikey Miss blocked me. That would be a curious one to me. Morey at least is trying to win. His moves just keep not working. Colangelo is trying to sabotage the team. Morey, I don't know if maybe Morey's trying to win. Morey just doesn't know how to win. Colangelo is trying to sabotage the team despite knowing how to win. I mean, it's a fantastic interview, Dives, but what it does is it really puts this team into perspective in a very negative light, for sure. Do you think that we will get the number? I doubt it. Highly doubt it. We have a better chance of not keeping our pick than getting the number one pick, probably. We're not getting the number one pick. We'll most likely get the fourth or fifth pick. Maybe not a pick, but that's how I would see it falling or playing out. Where does he stack up against Jerry Jones? I don't know the answer to that one, Adam, but what I do know is that, hey, at least Jerry Jones has won something in his life. Daryl Morey hasn't. But what Daryl Morey does do is make me appreciate Howie Roseman even more than ever before. Like, really legitly, I am sitting here right now as I'm talking about Daryl Morey, and his asinine in the back of my head, the word Howie Roseman just keeps popping up. It's winning versus clueless. Like, we have to literally build a statue right now for Howie Roseman based off of comparing him to Daryl Morey. Quinville hired yesterday. Flyers are a disaster. Missed on Berube, missed on Montgomery, missed on Sullivan, now missed on Quinville. They sure will get. You're trying to flip the script to the Flyers here. Another, as you would put it, disaster. But we'll wait till the actual hire is done to call them a disaster. Todd says Morey is on drugs, dude. Like, legitly, I mean, maybe. Like, you got to be on something to think that and say things like, I'm pretty good at this winning thing. No other executive has done what I've done. I'm out on the Sixers. I can't even get the energy to deal with the silliness anymore. I don't even think the word silliness is right for it. It's clown behavior. Really, it is. Queenville was a very good coach at one time. He knows how to handle a young team. I just don't know if he has it in him to get them to that level. NBA will make sure Sixers don't get first-round pick. The lottery is rigged. See, I think the thing is they know that we think it's rigged, so they'll let us keep the pick. But it won't be a good one. It'll be like the fifth pick. Sixers are 1,000% running it back with the hope that Embiid miraculously gets healthy for the second half of next season. It's sickening. It is. I mean, according to Daryl Morey, that is exactly what's happening. We're going to get younger, but we're going to run it back with Eric Gordon and Andre Drummond. When he said those two things, it's like, what's up with that? True, it is more malpractice. It's malpractice. Like, if only I had a lawyer that was a sponsor of this show that I could call to talk to about, do we have legal action that we could take against the Sixers? It's a shame we don't have a lawyer as a sponsor that we can have on call like that. It's a shame. Sixers fans need to boycott. Guys, we know that would never happen because the casuals will still watch. And so if the casuals are still watching, it's not worth us not talking about them or whatnot. Let me tell you something. I won't be going to a game next year. If somebody offers me free tickets, I ain't going. I'll barely watch it. I'll put the Flyers on before the Sixers next season. At least there's some hope with the Flyers, even if Rick Tocchet is the coach, and that shouldn't be the Flyers' next coach. At least there's hope. I will watch a combined 5 minutes of NBA basketball next year. Guarantee it. Because I believe the league hates Philly, so we will not get that first-round pick. Look, but they also know that we think that. And they don't want to hear us all crying and moaning and groaning. If the Sixers run it back next year, there will be tons of empty seats every night. Will there? Because there's a lot of casuals. Basketball is a big sport in Philadelphia. And those $10 tickets will be bought up by people to take the kids to games, to take casuals, visiting teams. So they might not be sellouts every night. And there might be empty seats. But the problem is it's very hard to convince this team to make change or convince the fan base totally to not go. Now, what needs to happen is all the season ticket holders need to back out and nobody to take their place. Those luxury boxes, not to buy them. That's when it's the Sixers, no matter how much the Sixers struggled over the last couple of years, it was still an event to go to a Sixers game. You still had celebrities going. You still had, famous people showing up. Those courtside seats, those luxury boxes were still filled. That's how you affect change with the Sixers. The big money, the money that Josh Harris actually cares about, is what needs to change. When M. Night Shyamalan stopped showing up, when the big names stopped showing up, when Eagles players don't go anymore to games, when you're not selling $10,000 courtside seats anymore, that's when Josh Harris will notice there's a problem. And that's how we need to affect that change. We should have fired Morey. He is going to set this team. He's already set this team back a decade, Todd. It's why I joked, but was semi-serious, that if you really want to fire Morey, restart this team is not going to contend for a title for the next 5 to 7 years. So I suggested you even trade Tyrese Maxey this offseason. I don't want him gone. He shouldn't be traded. But fire Morey, start it over. But even if you fire Morey, what are you going to do? You still got Josh Harris calling the shots. You and I both know that Nick Nurse ain't playing the kids next year. Dude, they'll end up with the first overall pick, and they'll draft Cooper Flagg, and they'll make Cooper Flagg come off the bench for the first month. Because you got to get minutes to, I don't know who. I got offered courtside with food this year. And you know what, Duck? I don't blame you. I've never sat courtside. But I don't blame you. NBA will just schedule more games with top view teams on broadcast to make the product here in Philly look exciting. I'd rather watch a practice round by Christian Bazunu. He got one shot on TV. I was watching yesterday afternoon, and they showed him once on the TV screen, and he missed a 4-foot putt. And I was like, that's a Bazunu kind of a putt right there. Shame the Warriors lost Steph for a minute. We screwed up by not being patient with Buddy Hield. Did we screw up by not being patient with him, or was he never going to succeed here in this organization, with this coaching staff, with this organization? Maybe that's the problem, actually. Luckily for the Sixers, Morey can draft. I would almost think of firing him after the draft. Can he draft, or did he kind of get lucky, too, to an extent? I don't think anybody was talking about Tyrese Maxey, an all-star, a stud, a max contract player when we drafted him. I mean, I don't know. And Jared McCain, same way. I'm with Party on Broad. Let's boycott. Hit their pocketbook. Me and you, Steve, me and Dives, you and Dives, we're not affecting his pocketbooks. What you need is the big money to affect his pocketbooks. And I don't know how you affect that change, but that's how you affect him. Josh Harris blows as a Sixers owner. He has no clue. Here, maybe in D.C. I keep warning the Washington Commanders fans. I keep warning them that you love them now. But let me tell you something. That wears thin when you realize all he cares about dollars and cents and not championships. Daryl Morey is the type of sports owner in hockey, basketball, and football. He bought his hockey team so he can make enough money to afford his basketball team so he can afford to buy a football team. But really, in the end, all he cares about is his profit and loss statement at the end of the year. Did I turn a profit at the end of the year? Can I afford to go to the white party at the end of the year? Can I afford to do this? That's all he cares about. Unpopular opinion, 6 is the worst landing spot for Flag. Needs to go to an offense with off-ball movement and cutting to the rim. He would fail in a ISO-heavy offense. That's maybe an accurate statement from you, Dives. Very, very well possible. Very possible that's an accurate statement. But I haven't even thought about that because I know we're not getting Cooper Flag. I mean, Cooper Flag would need to drop a video of him pulling a Laramie Tunsil on draft night for him to fall. And even then, I don't think he falls to the Sixers. Once Harris gets his stadium in Virginia, he'll be checked out. Absolutely. Once he gets his new stadium, whether it's in Virginia, Fairfax, whatever, Leesburg, or in D.C. or wherever, and he sells the naming rights, and he collects that $500 million paycheck, he'll be like, all right, time to buy a premier football team. That's how I see Josh Harris going. He's going to screw over the Washington fan base when he's ready to buy Manchester United, or that's just the first team that popped into my head. That's true, Dives. Unpopular and true seemed very unpopular and true. I mean, yeah. What's your thoughts on Dallas picking up George Pickens? Todd, we covered this that day. I'll cover it again. I mean, it's a good deal. Good for both sides. Well, I don't really know what Pittsburgh's doing, but, he's going to make Dallas better. They are a very good wide receiver duo now with him and CeeDee Lamb, but he's still not even the second. I mean, he's the third best wide receiver duo even in our own division. Can he get his head on straight? I don't know. Is he a problem when Mike Tomlin is letting you go? There's a culture thing with his talent. He's uber talented, but he's also due a lot of money. You've already paid out a lot of big contracts, and Micah Parsons is still due to be paid. So I don't know how that's going to work out for the Dallas Cowboys. Not at all. Have I read all these quotes? I thought the trade for Quentin Grimes would make us make a Miami-type playoff run. No offense, Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes performed very admirably, better than I could expect it here in Philly, and he even won me over. That he's somebody more than just a good player on a bad team that would disappear on a good team. But you thought Quentin Grimes was going to be the guy that led you to a deep playoff run? Seriously? You can't put some sugar on a piece of shit and make it think it's going to taste good. That's what Daryl Morey did. He tried to shine up a pile of poo and make it look good. Little does he know, it still smells like poo. Pitt was not going to sign Pickens, so they did the right move to trade him to Dallas for something. Yeah. Now Dallas can't afford him. Why the F was Banks and Hernandez in high leverage spots last night? Because you're burning through your bullpen. Phillies win last night 7-6 over the Rays. That's on the agenda today as well. Sweep the series. Good performance from Luzardo. The bats came alive late. Huge hit late by Bryson Stott. Love him in that leadoff spot. But the bullpen is going to continue to be a problem. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. 4 of the 6 runs came against our bullpen last night that the Rays scored. Not good enough. Is Harper still in a slump? What is going on? Harper slowly seems to be breaking out of it, Todd. I know he went 0 for last night, but going into last night, he had a couple games in a row with a hit. The thing is, everybody's taking their turns at hitting right now. So I'm not worried about Bryce Harper. Not worried about him one bit. Pickens outright stated he is not necessarily looking to sign a long-term extension with Dallas. He's looking for free agency because he wants to get paid. See, that's just the problem with George Pickens. He thinks he's an A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb. He ain't even on a T. Higgins level. He's not even a top 20, 25 wide receiver, in my opinion. He's a very solid number 2 receiver. Stretches the field. He's going to, what did Brandon Ayuk get paid? Like 4 years, $120 million? That's what he wants. He ain't that good. Sugar shit would be a great name. Can we start calling him Daryl Morey that? Sugar shit? Where's Rubber Arm Paul Quantrill? Wow, now there's a name from below average Phillies history right there. There is a name. He was a starter / he started at times in his career, didn't he? I know he was a reliever too. Stott needs to be an all-star. Can't wait to vote for him as many times as I can. Look, Bryson Stott has always been supposed to be the leadoff hitter of this team. And I love how he's accepting the role, figuring it out. As long as Rob Thompson can stop getting in his own way and leave him in the leadoff spot every single night. He's a young kid, Stott, 26, I think. He don't need no days off. He just doesn't. So, just leave him in there. And will he be an all-star? Maybe. Maybe not. Well, he's got the 3 homers. He's got 20 RBIs. But he's only hitting 277, only 270 in the leadoff spot. His OPS, I guess his OPS is now over 750 after last night. So that's a positive. So his average is getting up there a little bit better. Strong defender at second base. Right now, realistically, Kyle Schwarber, Zach Wheeler, are they the only 2 all-stars that are locks? Last year, we had 8 all-stars on this team. Outside Schwarbs and Zach Wheeler, you got a maybe with Bryson Stott, and that's it. What happened to this Phillies team? This Phillies team, I'm more confident in this Phillies team right now than I was at this point last year. But last year, we had all the all-stars, and this year we don't. It's kind of crazy. Stott is a professional hitter, and it is showing. Yeah. I was watching his first at-bat last night in the first inning, and it was like a 5-6 pitch at-bat. He took pitches, fouled a few pitches off, worked the count. There was 9, it was 5-pitch first at-bat because there was 9 pitches in the first inning. He had 5 of them. And then the other 2 batters had a combined 4 pitches. That's a problem. Actually, no, 3 hitters because he got on base. We are better off with less all-stars. It's kind of weird how the team last year, loaded with all-stars, gave us less confidence than the team this year, not loaded with all-stars. It's kind of one of those funny little things there, how that works out. It really is kind of comical. Guys, you're watching Train the AM. It's 30 minutes in the show. Please like this, share this, subscribe. Should have at least a dozen likes on this video so far. I'm guessing we don't, but I'm going to check and find out where we're at. We're still sitting at 520 subscribers. We're at 10 likes on this video. That means at least 2 people that are watching this right now have not clicked that like button, so please do that. Would greatly appreciate it. All those people watching on Twitter, please head on over to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. It's in my bio. Would greatly appreciate you tuning in over there. We're talking Sixers and Daryl Morey and how dumbfounded I am with him. And we're talking Phillies now with a big series sweep last night. How about Brandon Marsh? 5 of 11 since he got activated off of his injured list stint. Finally turning the corner. That's good. What happened to Ranger? Ranger danger. Ranger stranger. Stranger danger. Ranger danger stranger. Whatever. I don't look or read too much into Ranger Suarez's last start. Todd, it was his first start of the season. He got hurt. Whatever. What I look at more is the fact that he shouldn't be a starter. Taijuan Walker probably should be. That Ranger should be in the bullpen. Not because of the struggle in the last game, but because the writing's on the wall that his arm just can't handle being a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. He's a guy that can give you 2 innings out of the pen, come in and get a key out in a high-leverage situation. He's proven he can do it. And while Taijuan Walker 2 games ago pitched a 3-inning save, I don't think we expect him to be that good and that capable out of the pen all year. Ranger's got a lot more experience as a bullpen arm than Taijuan Walker. So I don't read too much in the Rangers' struggles in one game. I read more into the big picture that Ranger Suarez is the weak link. And I know Andrew Painter pitched well last night. And that's the thing. Ranger might be going to the bullpen soon, too. We're probably about 6 weeks away from Andrew Painter, the Phillies starting pitcher. And then you have Ranger Suarez and Taijuan Walker in the bullpen, barring any injuries. Our roster going to next season will be better than it was going to last season, where, again, I already read that quote. I have a whole page of all those quotes written down here, Dives. To say that it's going to be better than last year's roster. Because last year's roster was great because we were the third favorite to win the East. Newsflash, Daryl Morey, not only did you not win the Eastern Conference, you did not make the playoffs. You had the fifth worst record. You didn't finish third in the East. You finished fifth worst in the entire NBA. But you're a clown. You're a clown. You're a nitwit for saying that, Daryl Morey. Read the room. See what the optics are with this fan base. This fan base is teetering on revolting. Anarchy. Honestly, I kind of feel like, and Dodd says that from Daryl Morey, you could have fooled me saying it was Doc Rivers saying it. I don't even think Doc Rivers said anything as bad as what Daryl Morey did yesterday. Maybe the schedule lost it. Would be right up there with yesterday's interview. Let me tell you something. I have nothing to say. Let me tell you something. I have nothing to say. Rojas may be trade bait. I'm okay with that. Walker is showing steady growth this year. Taijuan Walker, we did it yesterday. We gave him a major round of applause on the show. The humility he showed by putting his head down, doing the work off season, getting healthy, getting in better shape, stepping into a role he struggled in, willing to, despite playing amazing, accept the demotion, so to speak, to the bullpen. Taijuan Walker earns team MVP right now through this part of the season for me. Why is Daryl Morey so arrogant and delusional? Because no one's ever told him he's not good. Nobody ever smacked him on the backside of the head and said, you ain't as good as you think you are. Daryl Morey was never told by someone in charge of him that he wasn't actually good at his job. You have to have a boss put you in your place. Todd, I don't know what you do for a living, Todd, but if you performed at the level of Daryl Morey, would you still have your job? You should never have stopped doing shorts about Morey. You're in flag. They might have to come back. Nooms already suggested that too. The whole odds thing is so tone deaf. Tone deaf is the word, the phrase I was looking for, and I kept couldn't get those words out. Shows how clueless you are. Playoffs? Talking playoffs? Playoffs? What, based on Harris's history, makes you think he cares? He took a competitive Devils team and allowed it to go to crap. Then he took a competitive Sixers team, let it go to crap. Now he's taking the Commanders. Let's hope the Commanders go to crap. Let's hope the Commanders go to crap, for sure. It's comical. It is. That quote is exactly what's wrong with the organization. Zero accountability. And the only way out of this, like we said a million times, proves that the Sixers won't be serious until Josh Harris is gone. The problem is Josh Harris can't be gone. Josh Harris has to choose to leave. Josh Harris still makes too much money. Josh Harris definitely, somehow, got a cut of that Xfinity Mobile Arena paycheck. Taijuan Walker, dominant for his first career save. You got to love it. You got to love it. The NFL will not let Washington go to the crap again like it did with Snyder. They will force him to put good management in place so the Washington will be fine. Josh Harris just wants that new stadium with the new naming rights paycheck, and then he's done. Morey needs to look at his hands to know how great he is. Morey needs to look at his hands to know great he is. Daryl Morey cares more about being a Grandmaster chess champion than putting a good product out on the Sixers. Again, I know you gave me, Dives, that one quote, but I still go back to the other quote. This is the first losing season I've ever had. More deep playoff runs than any other executive. Never been to the lottery because all I do is win. I'm pretty good at winning. You want to talk about tone deaf? Tone deaf. I'm pretty good at this winning thing. Never been to the lottery before. Like, seriously? How can you how can you even think that it's okay to say it? Maybe you say that behind closed doors. Maybe Daryl Morey over a crumble cookie with Elton Brand. You're like, I'm pretty good at this. I hear them all bashing me on Trending in the AM, but I don't care. Because I'm pretty good at this. Washington has a good front office right now, so they should be fine for a while. For a little while. Blaming last season on all the injuries after signing and beating Paul George and having the oldest roster in the NBA is fireable offense. Like, and there wasn't even any discussion about firing him. Like, literally, the last game of the season ended. Morey went to the podium with Nick Nurse after the game and said, I will be back next year, and so will Nick Nurse. First and foremost, I don't even think Nick Nurse wants to be here. Nick Nurse was hoping to get fired. Let me tell you something. Like, when you go out there and make the statement, I will be back, so will he. 30 seconds after that third best team in the Eastern Conference, odds-wise, misses the playoffs. It's laughable. Harris is like the CEO of a large conglomerate who can't be bothered to look at what they make as long as the very bottom line. That's it. It's that profit and loss statement. I know I look at my profit and loss statement every quarter. How do we do this month? How do we do this quarter? How do we do this year? That's all that matters. Magic Johnson, by the way, is carrying Washington Commanders, not Josh Harris. Harris is clueless. It's a fair statement. Maybe that's true. At least Ty Walker's back to the manic end of his bipolar performance itself instead of not being able to get out of advanced day ball players. Yeah. I mean, Ty Walker, I went through his, I don't have it up anymore because that was for yesterday. I went through his, career, and he's had very good performances in his career, good seasons. Maybe we're catching the good version of Taijuan Walker for a change this year. Morey doesn't know Philly. He is teetering on getting ran out of town. Problem is we can't run him out of town. Josh Harris is the only one that can run him out of town. And Josh Harris probably don't even know what's going on with the Sixers right now. So let's do a draft of the worst GMs in Philly sports history with a list of the worst moves. That could be a fun one. Let's lock it in. Let's book it. A Monday or a Tuesday night. Or my nights off. Worst GMs in Philly sports history, but we have to attach why with one move that made him the worst. Done. I already know why Billy King will be on my list because he turned me down for a fist bump. That was his worst move ever. Saw Billy King coming out of a wedding. Like, yo, Billy King, what's up? And I went like this. We're both in the Valley parking lot. And he looked at me as I put my hand out. And he turned around and walked away. Like, yo, I'm wearing a tuxedo. I'm looking good. I don't look like any problem. Just want to say what's up. I may have been a little intoxicated. But I was doing it very politely. Ty Walker is like Pat Burrell of pitching. And what, is he a ladies' man? Does he get all the girls at the bar? I didn't know Ty Walker was such a ladies' man. Daryl Morey is worse than Billy King. I don't think Daryl or Billy King ever said, I'm pretty good at this winning thing. I've never been in the lottery. Hey, we did have the third best odds. So I don't know if Billy King is the worst. That still falls on Daryl Morey. Harris doesn't live in Philly, so he don't care. Morey only lives here during the season. He's off to Florida when the season is done. So no one cares. Absolutely agree. So what does Elton Brand actually do? I mean, Elton Brand's had opportunities to leave. He keeps pulling his name out of other opportunities. If I was Elton Brand, I'd be wanting out of here myself. Try to do something on my own. But Elton Brand is just a coffee boy. Billy King disrespect. It was young Phil. It was pre-beard. It was goatee Phil. It's very disrespectful. So he's always going to be on my DTM. DTM, for those that don't know, is my dead to me list. So Billy King will always be my DTM. Billy King is a known arrogant, elitist douche nozzle. Done. Perfect answer. Accurate answer. Accurate answer. I don't even remember which wedding it was that I bumped into him at. It was at the Bellevue in Philly. So that means it was an expensive wedding. It could have been one of the Picano kids. It could have been Rosemary's son. I don't know. Been to some pretty high-end weddings at the Bellevue, so I forget which one it was. Billy King is a bozo. He is a bozo. I would have loved to fist bump Goatee Phil. Goatee Phil is a baby face. Like, I look old. I am old. But you shave this beard off, I'm a baby. A big, old baby. Elton Brand still being in the organization is a great example. A great example of what? Cluelessness? Like Elton Brand? Like, you would think Elton Brand would have some self-pride, some self-worth. That he'd want an opportunity to prove he's not just Daryl Morey's lackey, errand boy. But even he just wants to collect the paycheck. Elton Brand's doing more harm to his reputation than good. I hope Pat Croce's doing well. I know at the beginning of this year, he announced that he had a cancer diagnosis. I forget what kind of cancer. I hope Pat Croce's doing well, recovering. Goatee Phil sounds. I was not. I was a very shy, introverted guy. I still am a very introverted, shy guy. But back then, Goatee Phil get a cocktail or two in him, and he was a very outgoing Goatee Phil. That's the only reason why I'm like, yo, that's Pat. That's Billy King. I would have ignored him if it wasn't at a wedding, an open bar wedding, mind you. And you know what they say? I was a big gin drinker back then. Still am. Gin makes you sin, so gin also loosens the body up a little bit. Nothing says douche quite like the soul patch. Yeah, the soul patch is terrible. Prayers for Three Doors Down lead singer. Absolutely. Is it kidney? I saw that he said cancer. I didn't see kidney cancer. Yeah. Saw them in a festival concert once. I was a Three Doors Down fan during my Y100, my alternative rock phase of life. Good band. But yeah, his message, his video was very inspiring. The way he just talked about, I'm not fearful of it. I'm not scared of it. We're going to fight it. We're going to do what we can. FYI, I met Pat Croce in Key West. He has a pirate museum rum bar down there. Yes, I think we went to it when we went there too, or at least we walked by it. I spent Christmas in Key West a couple of years ago. Yes. Yeah, Three Doors Down. It's a sad thing. You know what else is sad? It's not cancer related. But there was media news. And we spent a lot of time talking about how the radio business and the newspaper businesses is dying, not just in Philadelphia, but across the country. The different outlets online, just the hot take way of it. People are getting disgruntled with it. The Beasley Media obviously owns a lot of radio stations in Philadelphia. Obviously, they fired Tyrone or let Tyrone go from 97.5 The Fanatic, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, it was announced that from the Preston and Steve show, Kathy Romano was being let go by Beasley Media. It was not a Kathy decision. It was not a Preston and Steve decision. It was a Beasley. It wasn't even an MMR decision. It was a Beasley Media decision. And I think it's just encapsulates how bad Beasley Media is doing. When you've got the highest rated show of all time in Philadelphia sports or Philadelphia radio, and you got to cut a member of the team who's been with the team for 23 years, man, they handled it with grace. They handled it professionally, announcing it. You could just hear the sadness in Preston's voice when he made the announcement. The tears rolling instantly down his face. You can hear it in Kathy, obviously sad that she's going to have to find a new job for the first time in 23 years. I've been a fan of Preston and Steve since before Steve Morrison was even on the show. So we all knew it came to popularity when it was Preston, Maryland, and Steve, the PMS show. But before that, it was Preston and Maryland, and then they added Steve Morrison. And then they added Casey Boy. Then Kathy and Nick and Marissa, become this great show. I know a lot of people saying they should have all walked out and all. Unfortunately, you can't do that when you've got contracts and stuff like that. But I was just utterly shocked that they would let her go like that. But it just goes to show how much problem. Like, it's always been a dream of mine to be on the radio. Even if I get one hosting gig for one night, even if it's 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., one night on the radio, that would be a dream come true. But days like yesterday and a few weeks ago with Tyrone just prove how different the radio industry is. And then maybe that goal doesn't need to be a goal anymore. Maybe the goal just needs to make sure I don't have only 11 likes on this video, that we get 1,100 likes on this video every day. You know what I mean? Like, maybe my goals even need to change because the radio business has changed so much. Is it even a need to have that dream or goal anymore? Probably, just for one night. But I don't need a job doing it anymore. Just to get dumped and fired when, they run out of money. 23 years in the same job is a damn good run. And I agree in the media business. Absolutely. I think what it does is it more proves how effed up Beasley Media is financially and how screwed the radio business is, period, at this point, K1. Beasley Media is taking a bad rap now for that. There's a petition going on to bring her back. Yeah. I remember Preston in Maryland. I do. When Preston first got started, the very early days of Y100, that little tiny building next to the Granite Run Mall, they used to make fun how they used to they always play a song when they come back from commercials, then get into the talk show. They used to make fun of how they used to be pop and top 100 and not rock. They used to play Chubbawamba all the time. Then they used to do in the parking lot, try to kill Casey Week. I had every Y100 Festival disc, went to every the Sonic Session discs, had all them CDs, all the Sonic Sessions, went to every Y100 Festival, loved them back then. They were all one big family too, just not at work. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to be the one to say, but Tyrone poses it. I don't have a problem with Tyrone. I don't always agree with him. I know there's a lot of people that don't like him, Todd. I don't have a problem. He's never picked a fight with me like some others have, okay? Now, was he drawing the ratings that he needed to in the slot he was at? No. He's probably not good enough to be the drive time host on a major sports talk show. But video killed the radio star. Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Is it Tumbawamba? I thought it was Chubbawamba. I don't know. Cowabunga could be what it's called. I don't know. I don't listen to sports radio anymore either. The only time I ever get off my XM radio is when I'm driving home and a Phillies game's on, and I want to listen to the Phillies game on the ride home instead of music. I'm an XM Sirius radio, and that's my thing. Without a doubt, always will be. I don't listen to any of it. Now, I do put on at the pizza shop the afternoon thing on TV. If there's no Thursday and Friday afternoons or golf, or Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on the TV, I put the sports talk, the Fanatics stream of it, just because it's background noise. Sometimes gives me content for this show, but I don't really listen to it. The problem is Kathy probably had a pretty large contract and didn't come to an updated contract with her. No, she was still under contract. They all signed new contracts like 2 years ago. Yes, it was probably pretty hefty. It was probably, see, the thing is, Preston and Steve probably get the most. Casey probably the third most. She was probably the fourth most. She probably made significantly more than Marissa and Nick. And you weren't getting rid of Preston, Steve, or Casey. But you had to choose one of the higher contracts. Yeah. So I would be shocked if Preston and Steve aren't making $3-4 million a year. I'm sure Preston and Steve's contract periods line up to keep them as a rated. They're all, the whole team was supposedly lined up. I remember a couple of years ago when they signed their new contracts, they announced live on the air that the team had signed a new contract. Back when I was on Twitter, I used to tweet to WIP every day to have Shane Half on. I wish they would have one person that actually understands football. Yeah, I mean, see, the thing is, WIP, the Fanatic, they're in it for the shock instead of, taking a step back and just having, like, if WIP or the Fanatic had a show, and I'm not just trying to pump my own self up here, a show like this on the air, yes, initially, they would take a step back ratings-wise. Because not everybody wants this real conversation, or not everybody's used to this real conversation. But what would happen is, over the course of 2 or 3 years, you'd start developing a new following and bringing back some of the old following. And then people would start to understand. Showing if you have a 5-year plan to change the radio station and commit to it versus always trying to do the next big thing for a ratings boost instead of anything else, that's what happens. The problem is they don't want that. They're catering to their short-term contracts to their advertisers. You watching Backlash tomorrow night? I work till 9. I won't get home till 9:30. Then I got to feed the dog. No, probably not. I have no interest in it. $1 million a year, holy shit. It's honestly not much for the highest rated show in Philly history on the radio. She was the easiest cut, unfortunately. It's a shame. I don't know. I think you could have cut Marissa, or you could have cut Nick too. And I'm not suggesting cutting any of them. I'm not. It's a shame. It just goes to prove what's going on in the sports media world, or in the media world in general. Sooner or later, I'll be dead. Needs to be temporarily taken back for now. What? I'm missing that one. But I just thought it was very interesting. Because again, I've been supporting that show and a fan of that show for a very long time. Again, since the very early days. Do you remember the Let's Kill Casey weeks that they used to do? Make them do jackass level stunts in that little parking lot by the Greater Run Mall. I remember that so much. Marissa and Nick have more jobs in the morning show. Again, maybe that's me not knowing because I don't listen to the radio much. If my wife drives, then she doesn't have XM in her car, so we'll listen to that on the way into work. But that's about it. Seth Joyner had Shane Half on. Good for him. Good for Seth to have Shane on. I didn't know that. I just interviewed Casey Boy 2 weeks ago talking about his stunts. Did any of his stunts stand out that he was actually like, oh, shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that one? It's crazy. I remember when the Bizarre File actually had, like, weird shit in it. Nick is actually on the radio with his own show. I had no idea about that. I had no clue. Again, I don't listen to the radio often. I love getting to the Camp Out for Hunger and the Cardboard Classic. Legendary events. The Camp Out for Hunger used to started in the Granite Run parking lot. Actually, it started in the Y100 parking lot the first time. Then it went to the Granite Run Mall parking lot. Now it's become this thing that they raise so much food and money that it's unrivaled. Cardboard Classic, I still remember once. I never went to the Cardboard Classic. I'm not a snow person. I remember driving once and seeing them all on the road on the way. Just happened to be taking the same road one day. I was like, Cardboard Classic's going on today. Seth is great. It was so cool. Hey, I've shouted out Seth on Twitter many a times. His DMs are not open to try to get him to come on here. He has never answered any of my tweets. So I've tried to get Seth on here. When he drove his car into the lake at Lynn Villa. I actually remember that one, actually. When you have to market to people is when you realize just how effed up they really are. Look, it's just crazy. It's a shame. It's silly. It is what it is, though. But it is the top of the hour here on Trend in the AM. We've got almost 20 concurrent viewers. That means there should be 20 likes on this video. Please, everyone, share this out. We're talking Sixers. We're talking Phillies. We're talking Kathy Romano on the Preston and Steve Show. Please subscribe if you haven't done it already. But like, share, subscribe, guys. We got lots of that. And we've got a new pope. The Catholic Church, the conclave of elected Pope Leo. Uncle Leo? Hello, Jerry. Uncle Leo as their new pope. The 260 whatever pope. And everybody's freaking out because it's a Chicago product, but he's a Villanova graduate. And I wanted to remind everybody yesterday that we're freaking out about that Villanova is not a Philadelphia school. That Villanova is on the DTM dead to me list because of how they handled the Knicks Sixers series last year. I hate Villanova, and I hate every graduate except for Mark Moscatelli from that school. So Villanova is dead to me. So I don't care that the Pope went to Villanova. He's a Bears. He's not going to say go Birds. He's going to say the Bears. Marketing helped create America, and now marketing is destroying America. I like that. I like that. I agree with that. Pope told Mass at Bonner. Really? I didn't go to Bonner. I would have gone to O'Hara, not Bonner. That's where I lived on the line. But I know my uncle went to Bonner. My aunt, my mom went to Prendy when they were separate schools. The new Pope has said go Birds at some point in his life. Oh, no, he's the Bears fan. I was pulling for Pope Scotty Thomas. For what it's worth, 2012 to early 14, Mr. Beast had the same exact trend as his show. What's that? Which trend did he have? Oh, number of subs. So you're saying I could be the next Mr. Beast? I actually saw him tweet something out similar to that yesterday. And I'm like, yo, could you spare me a couple? And he didn't do that. You went to O'Hara? Yeah, you're a little younger than me by like a year or two. I think we figured that out. I was going to say, if you were a little older than me, you might have gone to school with my older brother. But no, you're a little bit younger than me. Yeah, I was at Devon instead of O'Hara. The Pope lives in Chicago. He's a Bears fan. Yeah, exactly. Scotty doesn't know. No. I have a master's certificate in PM from Nova. I don't know. I really do like you, Duck. I mean, I've never met you. You're a faceless profile. You could be about, I don't know. Just the school and the organization is dead to me. Not the people that went there. I'm just kidding about the people that went there. I know a lot of people that went there. But the way they handled that Nova Knicks situation last year when they were playing the Sixers really pissed me off. Oh, no. There was like a brief moment in history, Adam. Brief moment in history where I considered the priesthood. I did. I know people don't realize. People judge me because of the beard and the tattoos. There was a moment in time where I thought I was going to be a priest. That lasted like 30 minutes. Then I met girls for the first time. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Yeah. Good morning, the Phil Illuminati. What's up, Eric? The gatekeeper of the Illuminati is here. How are you, my man? I hope you are well this morning. We got lots on the conversation. Nova, half Delco and Monco. I don't care what they are. I don't care. Their support of the Knicks while they're facing off against the Sixers ruined them for me. They're done. They're dead. Done. We'll never cheer them on in March Madness ever again. I think most Catholic men our age considered the priesthood at some point in our early teens. Yeah, I mean, I was an altar boy. I volunteered at the church. I was a very religious. I was a cantor. I was a lot. I spent a lot of time at the church growing up. And then when I got to the beginning part of high school, started chatting with the headmaster at my school. It was a conversation once or twice. Then I went out on my first date, and that all ended right there. Yes, the Pope is a fan of Chicago teams, but he was in Philly for several years, and he's a sports fan. Someone got him to say "Go Birds." I have no doubt. Yeah. Look, I think it's a huge day for the Catholic religion. It's a huge day for America to have the first American Pope. You know, I was watching the announcement of it on CNN yesterday at the pizza shop, and I really felt how insignificant we are, this country, in the worldwide scheme of things. Because I didn't fact check them. I mean, why would I? I mean, CNN's never wrong with anything. So this statement might sound dumb when I say it. That America only represents 6% of the Catholic population in the world. Now, I know Catholics aren't the number one religion in the world or in America. But to think that only 6% of Roman Catholics are from America. We're one of the biggest countries in the world. Wow. I just thought that was, I was just shocked by that number. I really was. You just can't root for the Knicks. The Celtics are not the Cowboys. Yeah, you can't root for the Knicks. I'm rooting for the Knicks to lose to the Celtics. I just am. 100%. I'm well. Thanks for asking. We're all feeling great. It's Friday. It's Mother's Day weekend. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I just volunteered at church last night. The people there were going nuts. Like I know. And that's not me. I just got back to the show talking religion. Really going to get a nice politics. No. I was just bringing up, Rick, you missed. We talked about Kathy Romano. We announced, just wanted to throw it out there because of the Nova connection to the Pope. That's why he came up. I brought it up to remind people how much I hate Villanova University. If you love the sport, you can't let Jalen Brunson get away with garbage. Exactly. Francis was the first pope from the Americas. Leo's the first U.S. pope. I said America. I didn't say Americas, did I? From America. United States of America. All right, got it. Details matter, I know. First pope from Chicago. He's a Sox fan, too. So it's going to be a ride. Oh, that's right. You live in Chicago. That's hypocrisy. We have the same Catholic population as the Philippines. We have like 10 times the population. It's crazy. Like it just felt weird hearing it out loud yesterday. Can't root for the Celtics. Oh, I did say the word hate again. Ah, man. I hate using the word hate, but it just slips out sometimes. That's what she said. Man, what a show so far. We only got 25 minutes left. What am I going to do all weekend? I mean, one of the few who could have cared less about who got selected as the Pope, unless he is going to help me cash in on my first single season Grand Slam future bet. Oh, man. I love it. Thanks, Steve, for that. Make me laugh. Making me laugh there. Calling him Pope Ditka. They should redo that old Saturday Night Live skit with the Bears guys around the table. I know Chris Farley ain't around anymore, but have the Pope sitting there next to Ditka. That would be pretty funny, actually. Anyway, let's get back to sports. Let's get back to the media. Kathy Romano. I got one other fun thing to talk about. We'll bring it up in a couple of minutes. But after the Phillies sweep of the Rays, they start in a 3-game series against the Cleveland Guardians this weekend in Cleveland. Cleveland's a very solid, very good baseball team. Actually, same exact record. We got Aaron Nola on the mound tonight versus Gavin Williams. Both very high ERAs. Not a pit. Tonight's, if you look at the pitching numbers for tonight's game, you're going to think high-scoring game. When we know what's going to happen is it's going to be a low-scoring game because that's just the way it works. The Phillies having to travel from Tampa to Cleveland. Maybe there's a little offensive dud tonight. But can the Phillies win 2 out of 3 against the Cleveland Guardians tonight, this weekend? Da Pope. So it will be an act of God when the Sox win the World Series. Exactly. Who more of a douchebag? Howard Eskin or Daryl Morey? Eskin. I don't think there's been ever any reports of Daryl Morey inappropriately kissing Aramark employees. So I guess I would put that on Howard Eskin. Does Daryl Morey also have a D bag of a son that hosts or holds the most coveted sports talk job in the city? That only got it because of who his dad is. So Daryl Morey's a step below the king. Who has the worst team name in sports? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Nola maybe the Philadelphia Wooder Dogs, maybe. Nola going to lock down the Cleveland team tonight. Tonight-y? You got to go tonight-y? It's not tonight. It's tonight-y. I don't know if we'll lock them down per se. Well, yeah, I agree. Nola will lock them down. The problem is I have a feeling that the Indians pitcher will lock us down too. It's tough to travel and then play the next night. So I'm surprised yesterday's game wasn't a 1 or 4 o'clock start. Phillies sweep the Guardians. Oh, that's bold. That's bold. It's bold, Adam. I love it, though. If they sweep the Guardians tonight, this weekend, I will 100% come on this show Monday morning and say the Phillies are winning the World Series if they do that. Howard is an alleged, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. 1,000%. 1,000% accurate, Duck. Hey, man, love the Wooder Dogs. I just kind of come up with a weird name that's terrible. Phillies, I think, have 17 home runs in the last 11 games and 65 runs scored. Bohm, down like 320. Bohm's getting some hits finally, for sure. Clipping what? What did I say? What did I say wrong? How do we only have 13 likes when there's 18 people in the YouTube room right now? There should be at a minimum of 18 likes on this video. We still probably have 520 subscribers. There should be at least 521. So, guys, like, share, subscribe. It literally is free to do. What are you clipping out of me? I don't even know what I said. Phillies, I think, have 17. Oh, I already put that one up there. I'm going with the Rocket City Trash Pandas. What? Where is the Rocket City? Who are the Trash Pandas? And what in the holy blue hell is this? I know you're not a Miss fan, but I hope he destroyed Morey yesterday. It's not that I'm not a Miss fan. Mikey Miss was a guy I truly respected. We got into a big fight on air once when I called the show one time in my entire life. And then he blocked me. And I love knowing that the reason we got into the argument came back and changed. I'd love to talk to him about it. And maybe the New Orleans baby cakes. What sport is that? Who are the baby cakes? Morey is a D-bag because he ruined any chance my Sixers had. Yeah, but Howard Eskin has some very, very bad reputation on how he treats the ladies. You said that the Phillies are winning. I said if the Indians if they sweep the Cleveland Guardians, that they're winning the World Series. I'm hooked back. I'm just about ready to let my guard. I don't know if I'm going to, they're not going to sweep the Guardians this week. The Guardians are a very good team. We're in Cleveland. We're not going to really sweep them. But I'm very close to letting my guard down and actually beginning to enjoy the season. I can't believe the Philluminati count is still 520. I know. It's a conspiracy. The world is against me, K1. It's a goddamn conspiracy against me. Worst team name, Commanders. I think the Washington football team is a worse name than the Washington Commanders. They're a single-A baseball team. The New Orleans Baby Cakes is a minor league team. That's a name. That is a name. Rocket Pandas are from Alabama. Baseball, another minor league team. Weird-ass name, too. Briere, worse GM than Morey? No. Briere still gets the benefit of the doubt. I told you that. Briere has not committed atrocities like Daryl Morey has yet. You know what Danny Briere does that Daryl Morey doesn't? Danny Briere says, yeah, we weren't good enough. Danny Briere says, yes, we have a plan. And he said going into 2025. It's not about 2025. He still said before this past season, we are still a rebuilding team. He tells the truth, Danny Briere. At least he has so far. I've watched a total of 10 Phillies games this year. I think that will start going up. And it's already starting to go. I was watching an inning here or there. Now I'm watching 3 or 4 innings here or there. It's getting better. He's a friend of the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Giving him a free plug. Sure. You're trying to goat me into a comment there, and I'm not going to do it. Verk is still out on Briere. Let's see how he handles this draft. Exactly. Santa Barbara Banana Slugs. There are some great minor league baseball team names. I remind you that there is a Banana Slugs. Yeah. 15 watching. There should always be an equal number of likes to the amount of people watching the show. Always. Briere dropped the ball on Torts, and it set this team back on so many levels. He's a bad GM. He's gone in 3 years. Well, he's gone in 3 years, and yeah, he's probably a bad GM. Briere has done a great job so far. Freed up some cap space and stock. That's big. Yeah. We're all on the same page on that. Guys, I got one for you. My wife and I were having quite the argument last night. I mean, it's basically his nickname, Howard Touchy-Feely Eskin. My wife and I were having an argument last night. I grew up in Springfield, Seacane, Delaware County area. You know, right at Baltimore Pike and Providence Road, there was a Clover. It was a discount department store with some of the lowest level clothing imaginable that you were embarrassed to wear around your friends. And I say it's the worst, cheapest department store of the 80s growing up. Now, Mitchie Poo, you're too much of a baby to know what Clover is. My wife says that Clover was high-end clothing, that Kmart back in the 80s was the worst. And I say that Kmart was like Christmas morning when we got to shop there. And we have a very strong disagreement on this. So I put it on Twitter yesterday. What store was lower level? What store were you more embarrassed to be caught shopping at? Kmart and Clover, not Strawbridge's and Clothier. We're talking Clover, the discount store, where you get a hot dog, a soda, and a pretzel for $1.50. And I'm getting destroyed on Twitter because I put my wife thinks Kmart's worse. I think just Twitter is just taking my wife's side and taking my wife's side. But right now we are standing at 75 to 25 on about 100 votes that Kmart was the more embarrassing store than Clover. What store were you most embarrassed to be caught shopping at? Shout out to Jason, son, Jax. Yes, forgot to say it. My main man, Jax Sullivan, turns 8 years old today. Happy birthday to Jax. You should be in school not watching this. Also the coolest podcaster I've ever met. Jax, happy birthday to you, my man. No argument on torts, Rick. Entirely possible that shipping off Cutter was a mistake, something that might not have happened if we had fired torts before the year. Also, F Cutter. Exactly. See, that's the thing, Freddie. Someone else brought up, I think Rick brought up the Cutter thing the other day. I get the thought process, but I also say F Cutter. It sounds like Torts won it out with his comments. Yes, he did. I remember Clover. What about Strawbridge's? That was in Canada. Well, I wasn't in Canada at that age. And Strawbridge's was high end. High end. Would have been nice if Cutter top 5 in rookie scoring this season, but he refused to play here because of Torch. Yes. Kmart is fine. They had the Wrangler line. Exactly. You weren't getting Wrangler line at Clover. You got these rough, itchy jeans at Clover that hurt. Kmart also sold Pumas back in the day. Before it was cool to wear Pumas. Maybe. I'm getting torn. I'm torn. Clover was a much worse store. But and yes, Rick and Duck and everybody. Yes. Danny Briere should have fired Torts sooner. Now, Danny Briere wasn't in charge of hiring Torts, right? Because when Tortorella was hired, I said it was a bad hire. That he wasn't a guy to build or coach a rebuilding team. That he was going to rub too many egos the wrong way as this rebuilding process. So I think if anything to blame is whoever was responsible for hiring Torts in the first place should be blamed for Torts. Kmart was the anti-get-a-girlfriend department store. Yeah, when I was shopping at Clover and Kmart, I wasn't looking for a girlfriend. I was like 10. We're talking 80s when I was like 10 years old. You're a little older than me, mister. I used to get a Little Caesars pizza while shopping at Kmart. Yes. Yes, you could do that. You could do that. Is Kmart high-end compared to Jamesway? I don't know what Amos is. Kmart doesn't exist anymore. Kmart went out of business. Don't forget, though, even the immortal demon sorcerer, Howie Roseman, is prone to mistakes. Let's see if Danny, like Howie, can atone for them. Exactly, Freddie. That's why I keep saying every time Rick brings up the Danny Briere and the Flyers, I say he's getting this offseason left. After next season, if we fall short again, then we absolutely could talk about firing Danny Briere. But I'm giving him one offseason to finish remaking this team. And then we'll see. I forgot, yeah. They were hot and ready before they were hot and ready. It was Briere's job to correct the fact of the bad hire to Torts, but he sat on his hands for 3 years and it cost the team. Yeah. I thought it wasn't Briere that hired him. Look, I get it. You wanted him gone sooner. I didn't want him hired in the first place, Rick. So we're in agreement there. But he's going to get this offseason to fix that mistake. Yes, he didn't get Sullivan, who you want, Rick. Let's see who he gets. Hopefully not Torts, but even if he hires Torts, let's see what happens with the draft. They got 6 or 7 draft picks in the first 2 rounds. You're going to get year 2 of Matvei Michkov. We'll see. Really locally and really low to mid. Yeah, exactly. Is Matvei Mitchie Poo the real deal or the Flyers need to tank again? Oh, Mitchie Poo's the real deal, for sure. Chuck Fletcher set this team back. Every GM of this team has set this team back. Michkov is him. Michkov has the potential. Now, he's still young. He's just coming off his rookie year. I don't even think he's 21 yet. Is he? Did he turn 21 yet? Michkov has the potential to be one of the greatest Flyers of all time. Michkov has the potential to be the number one star in Philadelphia sports at currently, like in the next year or two. Like, Michkov is the real deal. At least Morey has his team in playoffs many times. Bears counting on 7-year rebuild. Look, I'd rather honesty from Briere about being in a rebuild than Morey go out there and tell me, look, my success record is better than anybody else. No. Danny Briere is a better GM than Daryl Morey because Daryl Morey is the worst GM in Philadelphia right now. Howie makes mistakes, but has been on a run the last 5 seasons. For a GM or team at draft and a free agent run like that is legendary. Ravens level of legendary. Absolutely agree with you. Pizza. He's still 20. I knew he was 20 at some point. Didn't know when he was turning 21. But yeah, Mitchie Poo is not 21 yet. Face it, most GMs ain't honest. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. At least Briere's being honest. We're in a rebuild. Now, I kind of wish I lived in Kennett. I think I want za for lunch. Fox's Pizza Den, right there. Best pizza shop in Kennett Square. Right there. We'll be there. I'll be there all weekend long. Open to close. Next 3 days. Well, the last 2 days and the next 3 days. The work never stops for this old man. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So it is also Mother's Day. So obviously, we're going to shout out all the moms out there. And want to remind, I saw my girl Haley Simon. You know, she works for 97.5 The Fanatic, but also some other places I've worked with her along the way. Yes, being a dog parent validates you for you should say Happy Mother's Day to all the dog mamas and all the cat mamas out there. It does count, just so you know. So happy Mother's Day to my mom, my wife as well, because she's the best dog mama out there. Brian is not totally honest. He says what people want to hear. He tells us we're rebuilding. 3 picks in round 1, 4 picks in round 2. Oh, I thought it was 2 and 3, but 3 and 4, even worse. They need to try to use that capital and see if they can. Sucker Sanders ain't giving them the second pick. Michael Missa is the center of the Flyers' need. I haven't really done a breakdown on the draft picks yet, like the top 5 or whatnot. At least you got golf on the TV and the Phillies. Yep, absolutely. It's a major myth that you can't build an AHL team through the draft. If Michkov is the real deal, I will go to Flyers games. Not a hockey fan, just a front runner, fair weather hockey fan. There's a lot of those. I plan to take my wife out this weekend. She's a great, exactly. Dog mamas count. They do. Unfortunately, we got to work. Now, I did set some special short hours at the pizza shop, so maybe we go out afterwards, or maybe I'll take her to breakfast before work. She kicks ass the way she takes care of those 3 monsters above me in the upstairs of the house. Does a great job. Does way more than I do, for sure. Anyway, we got the final 5 minutes. Will the Phillies win the series against the Cleveland Guardians? We're wrapping this show up. If you've got any final trash to throw Daryl Morey's way, we got 5 minutes left to do it. We've talked Kathy Romano, Let Go by MMR and Beasley. We've talked the new Pope, and of course, Happy Mother's Day. Lots of final things to get through in the final 5 minutes of the show. Do you have New Haven-style pizza? No, we do more of a Italian hand-tossed pizza style. It's thin, but not super thin like New Haven. You should bring your dogs on camera someday. Yeah, I don't know if that would work. A, they would have to come down the stairs. B, they'd have to sit still long enough to get on camera. And D, they're big. I can't pick them up and put them in my lap. Maybe Loco Lucy would fit in my lap, but that's about it. The Flyers need new ownership. Michael, what's up, my man? Also, this team has been a process since Lindros. It's been a chore, the Flyers, since Lindros left, for sure. There's a lot of chores. It's a chore to be a Philadelphia sports fan outside the Eagles, basically, right now. 6-4 Phillies tonight. I see more like 3-2 Phillies tonight. I think tonight's going to be a low score. I want the Flyers to get Matthew Schaefer in the draft. Again, I don't know who any of these prospects are in the NHL draft yet. Why do we have a goon like Rocky Thompson in charge of PP? Power play. Someone has to riddle me that. Josh Harris knows the man that should replace Morey with Bob Myers. But he didn't. And he won't. And, Michael, that's the big problem. We spent the first 30 minutes of the show just bashing the Sixers team for the way they did it. And it's pathetic. Shit rolls downhill. That's why the Flyers haven't won a cup in 50 years. Yeah. I mean, we bitch about some of these other teams in our city not winning. I mean, the Flyers, it's been a long, before I was alive. But, Michael, we spent a lot of time. I'm just going to read these quotes one more time. It's the first losing season I've ever had. More deep runs than any other executive. I've never been to the lottery because I only win. I'm pretty good at this winning stuff. They were Daryl Morey's comments. Our roster will be better than 2024-5, where we were the third best odds to win the East anyway. So it's going to be even better. Speechless that Daryl Morey has the cojones to speak to the Sixers fan base like that. It's pretty pathetic. Josh Harris is more interested. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is 1,000. This is a less accurate statement than you saying the Phillies will win the World Series. Wonder he didn't say anything about James Harden. Yeah, he didn't. Is going one, not going to happen, unfortunately. Mice is going to be a dynamo, though, and have nothing. Having someone to center McGuff would be nice. I wish Lindros never met Skinny Joe. Yeah. All fair statements, guys, except for Rick, because Daryl Morey is not better than Danny Briere. It's just not the case. I will 100% accept this if you take back your statement that Morey is better than Danny Briere. That's all. I will give you 1 weekend of accepting that this might happen if you take back your Daryl Morey, Danny Briere comment. Morey has 0 championships. The audacity. Morey has he even been to a finals? Did he get that Rockets team to a finals? I don't think he did. I think he got 1 Rockets team to the Western Conference Finals, and that's it. It's pathetic. 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 No. What track record? Has he won a title? No. Has he brought a title, even a title chance? No. He's made bad move after bad move after bad move. And you want to say he drafts well? Well, I guess Danny Briere drafts well, too, because he got Matvei Michkov. He got Matvei Michkov over here sooner than he was expected. So I guess that crosses out that. Morey's track record is the most overrated track record. It's praising mediocrity. No, but he took over a team that wasn't going to the playoffs. It's not like the Flyers had gone on a 10-year, conference semifinals run. Danny Briere comes in and all of a sudden we're bad. Danny Briere took over a bad franchise with nothing and has worked on trying to make it better. I guess we're not getting the 25 likes today. Haven't gotten the 25 likes once this week, Mitchie Poo. What's up with that? I don't know. Excuses are the bricks that build the house of failure. And you're giving excuses to Daryl Morey. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adam. I know. One more time. Like, share, and subscribe, please. He has been fired. Okay. I thought the whole entire coaching staff was fired. I didn't think they kept anybody. I thought they moved on from them all. I'm not making an excuse for him. Yeah, he should have gotten rid of Tort sooner. But also, he's been honest. We're building to something. He said from day one, we're building towards 2026. So that's why he gets till 2026. Plain and simple. No excuses. He's on the hot seat. I've told you he's on the hot seat after this offseason. He's got to hit this offseason. Okay. All right. Fine. But he's not better than Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey slings BS at us all the time. Daryl Morey had generational players in this city and failed. Yes, 100 men versus one gorilla if you want the algorithm to lead here. I think the bigger question, mister, and I'll end it on this because we're already now into the overtime. The bigger question shouldn't be 100 men versus one gorilla. It should be 100 gorillas versus Jordan Davis or Jordan Mailata. Who would win? Just saying. Briere is not on the hot seat. He has done a great job. I don't know about a great job. He's done a job that's incomplete, Anthony. He has an opportunity to complete the job this offseason. And if he fails this offseason, if he swings and misses this offseason too many times, then after the year, he's going to be on the hot seat 100%. But he gets this offseason. Great job? I don't know. Incomplete job, I think is the fair way to say it. More of an indictment on Embiid than Morey. No. Morey's the one that gave him that contract. Morey's the one that doesn't hold him accountable. Since the cap was introduced, the Flyers have not proven an ability to navigate a non-slanted sport. Briere hasn't done anything but cost us a top 5 pick. 100 gorillas will kill any man, even with a gun or spear. I don't know. Jordan Mailata, man. Jordan Mailata is not a normal human being. Anyway, we got to wrap this up. We're not going to start the gorilla conversation in overtime here. But anyway, everybody have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Congratulations to the new Pope. And everybody enjoy themselves. You're going out to the Truist Championship. Have fun. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Make sure you say Happy Mother's Day to every mom out there. And we're going to wrap it up. We'll be back next week, guys. Go Birds. Bubbles up.